Guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at one of my favorite filming spot locations because guess what? We have that one sport performance vehicle from an iconic Japanese brand that may bring you some surprises. It's this vehicle right here. What is it? It's a 2023 Lexus RC 350, but guess what? We have a F Sport with all-wheel drive. But before we get into this bright Twinkie yellow RC 350, let's talk about what's going on here. Lexus, they are going through their lineup one vehicle at a time and bringing some major redesign. Now, one vehicle that still has not received that magical touch is the RC. Now, RC, you could get it many different ways, and it's been around basically the way that you see it since 2014. And I definitely have to applaud Lexus for what they did with this vehicle, because as you can see, it still looks plenty fresh on the exterior styling wise. Now, what's fascinating is that if you look at a lot of the competition, the Audi A5 or S5, you look at the BMW 4 Series, especially something like an M440i, you start to see these vehicles get major redesigns and major changes. But what I want to find out is, if you're looking for a sport performance car, not a full-out sports car, but something that's going to be a great daily driver, you can enjoy the twisty bits, but also has something that, especially if you live up north, is almost necessary, all-wheel drive, is this 2023 Lexus RC 350 F Sport, the vehicle you should be driving and buying and loving and washing and keeping? Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, the color. It's interesting because with the overcast, it does give me a feeling in my stomach for some Twinkies, because it does have a nice Twinkie yellow color to it. In the sun, it really pops. It's called solar flare. And let me know how you feel about it. I'm more of a blue or a silver or a gray kind of guy when it comes to the RC 350. But there's part of me that says, you know what? This solar flare yellow is kind of working. Now, at the front of the business, you're going to notice the optional headlight style that we have, that triple LED beam, and I went ahead and lit up each of the triple beams of that optional headlight. We have our LED turn signals, and then of course that Lexus signature daytime running lamp. Now, there is a slight mild refresh to the front, and what's nice is, as well as wheels, and wait until we get into the interior, we do have a nice little special edition in there for 2023. We do have functional triangular corner air curtains. I like the way it's flat black. Love the way they have a nice shape to the front fascia. And then as we come across that massive spindle grille design, this is part of Lexus design philosophy. If you watch IMSA WeatherTech Racing, you would know that there are two Lexus RCFs that race in GTD. We do have functional brake cooling ducts on both sides. I like on the F Sport, you have your, of course, dark chrome finish all the way around the perimeter, and then that metallic gray spindle grille design, fully functional. Let me know if you're still digging this, or do you prefer the big old schnoz that's on the front end of the BMW 4 Series? That beaver pig's snout kind of nose compared to this. Let me know what your interests are in that comment section. Now, as we rise up, very long, low slung hood. What's great about Lexus is that it's almost like the Egyptians built the vehicle. Very nice, tight body gaps. Everything fits so well. And you know that over time, this Lexus RC 350 is gonna last the test of time. The style is fairly timeless. Like I said, it's been around since 2014. There was a refresh since then, but still overall looking crisp. Now, as we come around the bend, we have some new finishes on these wheels. Love the multi-spoke design. You have almost like a black dark chrome finish. You'll notice our nice big calipers there. And then behind that, you're gonna have rotors that are almost 15 inches in diameter up front. We have adaptive suspension, all four corners. And one of my favorite things of the side of the vehicle is I love this nice body line in the front fender. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel? What are the size of these tires? Basically what you're looking at, and you'll see with our design here, nicely kind of ornamented all the way around. So you're looking at a 19-inch wheel, 235 on the width up front, and this is a 40 series sidewall. Pretty standard setup on this F Sport. Now, when we come down the side, you're gonna have your simple, tasteful F Sport badge, gloss black and solar flare on the mirror caps. I gotta zonk this. The shiny chrome doesn't work. We need that dark chrome from the front of the grille area brought here, but I do like the turn signals. You do get a standard size sunroof, and they have dark chrome finish along the top of the window frames. And this is, of course, a frameless side door. When it comes to the glass, it's frameless, so it gives it a nice clean look. Close the door and it pops in. With the side sill, the way it extends down and then they kind of taper it towards the rear of the vehicle, really digging that. We drop on down. What do we have out back when it comes to tires? You got 265, so a little bit more rubber to meet the road. Remember, this is rear-wheel drive based, but this particular one has all-wheel drive. So we're gonna get power going to the front, power going to the rear, and speaking of the rear, coming around the back, simple, clean. You can see how the trunk, they curve that trunk lid, give you some functional downforce. On the F Sport, I would have liked to have seen just a little extra trunk lid spoiler, but the way they do the taillights looks fantastic even to this day. You do have functional rear corner vents, and then we have our all-wheel drive RC 350 badge. I wish it was either gloss black or dark chrome, so I am gonna zonk that. And then the exhaust, simple and clean. Nice stainless steel tips all the way around. They integrate nicely into that lower bumper area. But one of the things I dig about the rear end of this RC is the width. It's got a nice wide rear end that just looks good. You wanna rub your hands on it. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering our 350. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hydraulic hood struts. Underneath the hood, first of all, I wanna show you, here's your shock absorbers right here, and you can see the wire leading to them. That's for the adaptive suspension. It's an interesting, unique engine cover. Not my favorite, but it could be worse, it could be better. But you know what? The silver and the black kind of gives it a little bit of pizzazz. And of course, you have the Lexus badging there. But what is underneath this cover? That's what I'm curious about. You have a 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6, 311 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. Now, the interesting thing that's the craziest is that you don't actually get the 8-speed automatic in this, which is what you get in an RC, RCF, an RC 300, the Track Edition RCF. This has a 6-speed automatic because it has the all-wheel drive. 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds, quarter mile in 14 seconds flat at 102 miles per hour. Top speed is 132 miles per hour. MPGs, 19 in the city and 26 on the highway. Now, of course, like I said, it's great that they give you a selection of different engines. But remember, if we're comparing this to the BMW 4 Series, especially the M440i, this has less horsepower. But why don't we go ahead, it's naturally aspirated, let's fire it up and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside this Twinkie of an RC 350 F Sport Performance. Even though it is yellow, and even though the interior is white, which is perfect Twinkie colors, I'm actually digging this car. I've always liked the RC lineup. I think the shape of it looks spectacular. But I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I don't want a BMW. All of my friends have BMWs, and I'm just sick of it. I don't even want a German car. I have always liked Lexus because I know they will go the distance. How much is this? MSRP, the way that this one is optioned, is right at $60,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Love the clean style. Soft touch material, the silver trim, the leather with this white contrast stitching, and then there's a little bit of that white two-tone going on. Door pocket though is on the tighter side, so maybe 2 7-Eleven hot dogs, skip the relish and the sauerkraut because it's not gonna fit. Going from the door panel to the dash, more of that great stitching. Yes, I know this is dated. I'm not arguing that. This car's been around since 2014, but still built very well. Like this kind of aluminum style trim. And then as you come in, what do we got? We got that new infotainment system, over 10 inches, all touchscreen capabilities. So if you've been frustrated, like 90% of the people on this planet with Lexus trackpads, you don't have to use the trackpad. Everything can be done with your fingertip, and you could use your index or your pinky. Does not matter. You still have your other information over to the side here that you could go through. AC controls, dual climate, of course. And then let me show you the backup camera. Throw it in the reverse. If you're gonna give me a backup camera like this, I need it to take up the whole screen width. That would have been nice. So that's a zonk, and it's a little grainy, but the good news is you do have trajectory. So that'll help you when you're backing up. Love the way they still do the analog clock. Very tasty, very tasteful. I don't know if it's tasty. I haven't licked it yet, but I'm gonna eat a Twinkie instead. This area, yes, we would say is dated, but very easy to use. You got real buttons, like the way you just slide your finger to adjust the dual climate control. You do have a CD player, so you could get, you know, Whoop, there it is. Obviously, some Pearl Jam, maybe some Survivor. And you could rock out because we got the Mark Levinson premium sound system, 3 stages of ventilated seats, and also 3 stages of heated seats. So I like the way they have that for the people up front. You do have your mode selector switch, including snow mode. This is going to control that 6-speed automatic, remember, with the leather, the silver, the stitching. Here's that Lexus trackpad. My advice is only use this when you are static and not moving down the road. 2 cup holders, the Lexus key fob, flip it around, easy to figure out. Love the soft material, the stitching. Open this up, you got 2 USB-A's, a 12 volt, and you got enough room in here to where you could put that collectible Gundam character figurine. I know your friends call it a doll. You say it's an action figure. You could keep that in there after you went to your trip to Japan. You could keep that action figure in there. I know Steven has one. Seats. This is where we get the cream from the Twinkies. Love the soft leather, the stitching, perforated, nice bolstering both at the top and the bottom, full electric assist. And you have the Alcantara headliner and a standard size sunroof. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this RC 350 F Sport. All right guys, inside this RC 350, I almost feel like this is what the Supra should have been. Especially with the V8, you go RCF, you get the V8. Love the way they got the nice aluminum sill plate with the F Sport badge. Pedal box is right out of a freaking race car. Love the aluminum dead pedal, brake pedal, and throttle. Would be nice to have a clutch and a manual transmission. One thing I don't like is look at the transmission tunnel with the all-wheel drive system and the 6-speed. Don't like the way that comes into the pedal box area on the driver's side. You do get the Lexus RC specific floor mats. That's worth an additional 5 horsepower. Seat controls, easy to get to. I love the amount of room in here, especially like I said, compared to the current Supra. That side kind of comes down a little bit. The roof line's a little bit lower. This, let me know in the comment section if you think this should be the Supra or should have been the Supra. Let me know, do it right now. I'm waiting, do it. But seats, decent amount of bolstering, gonna keep you in place, but they're not gonna squish you. Steering wheel, I'm fine with a round steering wheel. I don't need a flat bottom. I don't need a triangular steering wheel or an octagon shape. Love the leather, the F Sport badge, the Lexus branding, all flat black on the switchgear. You do have these large paddles to go up and down the 6-speed automatic. It is a power tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then the digital display, it's cool, because what I love about it is that you have that bezel, physical bezel that has information in the center that you could change. You could go through your different modes and look at how the tack changes. That's pretty wild. But then the best part is watch this. Dun, 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 dun. So you could actually slide the bezel over, which then gives you a cornucopia of different information. G meter, you could turn all your safety things off real easily. Lane keep assist, your music, and then back to the G meter. You could do gear position indicator, tire pressure, or have it clear, and then you just bring it right back over. Look at that, boom. Nicely done. One thing I am surprised that's not in here is a head-up display. Let me know how you feel about that, but we're gonna do it. I know you're gonna complain if I don't. We're gonna get in the back seat of this RS 350 and see just how much room there is. All right, guys, back seat time. It's a challenge to get back here, especially if you're large like I am. I'm 6 feet tall, if you didn't know that yet. It's close to the headliner. I'm having to kind of just lean over to the side a little bit, but to be honest with you, doing this in the back seat of a Camaro or even a Mustang GT, it's a lot tighter. The seats are really phenomenal. You got the Mark Levinson sound system. I'm gonna see if Steven could even show you the great stitching and the leather that's in the back seat. Love the way they continued that all the way through. You even have rear seat air vents for the AC. So that's a nice touch. Now, of course, besides being hard to get in, when you put the seat back, it is gonna squeeze you. You're gonna have to have the person in front of you move the seat up. But it is a little tight because of how far the seat is. Just tell the person to move the seat up. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the last piece of this puzzle, the cargo area, because I'm ready to go on throttle and get the heck out of the back seat. I wanna get up there. Let's get to the trunk. All right, guys, time to get in the trunk. What's nice is you hit that button, you lift it up, you're gonna be greeted to a great amount of space. You're looking at about 16 cubic feet of space. The seats do fold down, 60-40 split. You have, of course, strapped in, because of the twisty bits, our Lexus First Aid Kit. We lift this bad boy up. What do we have going on here? Keep lifting. You actually get a spare. So compared to the BMW and Audi, all they're gonna give you is a can of Flat Fix. Here, we get an actual spare. I love the color. I love the color of the spare. It's a great spare. No, I love the cover, how everything is nicely locked in for you, so you could easily get everything set up if you need to, if you have a flat. But what's great is, it's not just about the trunk space, it's not just about the all-wheel drive. Let's go ahead, let's go on throttle and see how this thing handles the twisty bits in our RC 350. All right, guys, we are in this RC 350 F Sport with all-wheel drive. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Nice, engine revs all the way up to 6,500. On those brakes. Now it's very interesting how, like I said, this model has the 6-speed automatic rather than the 8-speed, but that naturally aspirated power is fantastic. A bit of body roll, but the good news is that with the all-wheel drive, it's helping keeping it planted, but the whole thing is that this is not a pure sports car by any means. This is a GT driving style car, and you get your fun sportiness, but this is one of those vehicles where you could easily drive it every day, be comfortable, have a nice quiet cockpit. And that's one of the things that I love about this car, is just how everything is well put together. No creaks, no rattles. I kind of wish there was a little bit less body roll in the corners, but that V6 naturally aspirated engine has a good low down torque curve. The sound, it's pretty balanced. You know, they are pumping some of the sound into the speakers, but BMW does that, and there's some of the most annoying sounds I've ever heard. This, it's pretty good connection with what the engine is sounding like and what is being pumped into the cabin. If you want a better sound, my advice, go RCF. I mean, then you're all done. Controls, everything is easy to get to. Yes, we could use the D word. No, not that word. Dated. It is dated in here, but it's well sorted. You know that everything is gonna work properly in here, and I think that's one of the high points. Seats are superb. They hold you well, they're comfy, they're ventilated and heated. And then the digital gauge display, I love that physical bezel. It just adds that nice extra touch to it. Visibility out the front is spectacular. Out the back is great. Side mirrors are a good size, and you have those Lexus safety features. All right, guys, you ready? I'm ready. Second gear, 5,000 RPM on throttle. Here we go. Yeah. Woo. Nice. This is where I love to live, in twisty bit land. Flat footing around this corner with that all-wheel drive. Yeah, that felt good. On the brakes. It's incredible how well the all-wheel drive works in here. You got that rear-wheel drive bias, but it's sending power to the front wheels. And in a way, even though there's a bit of body roll that's in the corners, I'm allowed to feel exactly how much traction that I had, how much grip that I had. And that gave me the confidence to leave my foot flat on the floor as we were on throttle through the twisty bits, because I could tell what's going on. The problem with some other cars is that it just feels numb, and you're kind of afraid, like, what happens? What if I go flat through this corner? Am I gonna go flying off the road? And that could be with all-wheel drive. Just because you have all-wheel drive doesn't mean you're invincible. I just wanna point that out. But with the way this car is balanced, and the chassis, the suspension, everything, it communicates very well. All right, guys, I'm gonna come to a complete stop again, and then we're gonna go on throttle through the twisty bits. This yellow Twinkie cream of a special edition RC 350. Are you ready? Because I'm ready if you're ready. On throttle, here we go. All the way to red line. I like the way it's got a nice gear indicator. Let me know I'm in third gear now on those brakes. If you need more power, you could get the V8. That's the way I would go, but this V6 with the all-wheel drive, a little bit of front end plow there, but then the back kind of came out a little bit to help compensate for that front end push. Remember, we're not on super sticky high performance tires. Something to think about. It would be interesting if this had some Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's or something. Things would be a little bit different, but overall the balance is there and I feel good. I think that's the thing at the end of the day. The biggest takeaway is that you're gonna feel good. If you know how to work the twisty bits, it's gonna make you feel good. And the fact that you could do the twisties, then you could drive to work, you could pick the kids up from school. It's a very flexible vehicle. If you had a Toyota Supra, you're not gonna be able to do that as much, especially if you have two kids, unless you throw one in the cargo area, which I don't know. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But usually kids like to sit in a seat rather than in the... All right, guys, one more time for you. Definitely one more time for me. Second gear, let me see if I can drop down the first here. There we go. First gear, slowing down. On throttle. Nice. Steering feels great. I like the weight of the steering and the way that it communicates. Very, very nicely done. Little bit of ABS kicking in, but that's all right. Coming around the bend. Just needs a little bit more oomph from 4,000 to 5,000 in the torque curve. It still feels great. It's a fun car to drive, and it's nice to have options. You know, not everybody wants or needs or can even afford an RCF, so it's nice to have other options in the lineup, and I'm glad that they offer an all-wheel drive example, especially since Audi and BMW, they both have all-wheel drive examples. But hopefully this was a good Twinkie-filled on-throttle experience in this RC 350 F Sport all-wheel drive. Say that 20 times fast. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. I'll see you in a split second. Hey guys, it's been one of those fun-filled Twinkie kind of days with this RC 350 F Sport. Definitely gotta thank the whole Lexus team for getting us access to this two-door GT Sport Performance car. Let me know what you think. Is Lexus still getting it done with the RC 350? Are you gonna spend your money on an Audi or a BMW? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radius Rise family. Of course, we need to give it up to Stephen Flood Photography. He actually just got done doing a trip where he ran almost the whole state of Florida, the whole length of Florida from Key West to Jacksonville. So wish him some congratulations. Right now he needs to get in an ice bath. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.